March 2024. It's March 6th, Wednesday. It's the day after Bitcoin broke a new all-time high. It was a scratch of breaking the all-time high, but that doesn't matter. It counts. We're going to be discussing that. We're going to be discussing what's the kind of background to this. At least me, I'm definitely off by about 6 months. I expected this to be happening in about 6 months. So we're going to discuss where's this all coming from. Obviously, we had a massive sell-off right afterwards. I think there was almost 15% or at least over 10% sell-off. We're going to be discussing that. We're going to discuss a bit of the sell-off in tech stocks, quite significant actually. We're going to be discussing the outage on Instagram and Facebook and Elon trolling everyone. And then we're going to be discussing some updates on DeFi chain. And I'm going to be announcing something exciting, what's going to be launching tomorrow on Big. So we have a full show here. I'm looking forward. Fabio, sir, how are you doing? Always good seeing you. How is your X usage? Is it stable? Is it going up? Are you spending more time on the socials now that everything's pumping?
I got my screen time update. I think every Monday they send you in a short notification with a summary of, and they compare last week's to this week. At least on Apple, my screen time is up 47%. So and it's mainly X, mainly Twitter. It definitely, there is this meme Elon Musk posted in 2021 where this Jesus looking guy is looking at a young woman and he's basically there's Bitcoin written on her and he's me just living or trying to live a productive life. It's definitely it definitely looks and feels like that. And I guess another model, another theory destroyed, all-time high before halving. It's possible. Crazy because I
Both of us didn't
remember
expect it. Let's be honest here. We were definitely not bullish enough.
we were not bullish enough. And I remember 6 months ago or so, you had Adam Beck taking bets with like super small accounts that we will see an all-time high before halving. I think he even said 100K before the halving, so he has like 30 days to go.
And the crazy thing is, it does feel possible. Like, I'm not saying it's like super likely, but it feels like, I think it's possible. Like, looking at the ETF inflows, it's just bonkers how much funds is flowing in there. Hundreds of millions of dollars net every day. It absolutely feels possible.
It definitely does, especially so. We still, I doubt that we have a lot of new people here. Probably most of the people are, out of let's say the 2020 era. But if you just look at what Bitcoin did when it broke its all-time high in 2017 and what it did when it broke its all-time high in 2020, it's a really clean or a really smooth run up until almost or at the all-time high, and then you have a choppy period and a sell-off. In 17, it was more of a sell-off, like at the 1,100 area. I think we had a 30% correction, and in 2020 it was also I'm not sure if it was 30%, but it was at least a candle as we saw it yesterday. So a bigger correction and a choppy area. And then finally, when Bitcoin breaks its all-time high, at least in 2017 and 2020, there is this extreme period of a parabolic run-up where it takes usually about 2 or 3 months with basically just up only. And now it's the question: are we going to see something similar? Are we actually going to break it? Before we go, before I explain maybe a little bit two theories that I'm kind of following right now, I would be interested in your take. Do you feel that we blast through the all-time highs, or do you see a period of consolidation? How is your take on all of that?
Man, so I've been reflecting on why do I feel not as bullish as as the market is right now. And I think it's a couple of things. The first, all like my close friends that are, either like very deeply invested or, run other crypto exchanges or crypto platforms, their experience of the market has significantly shifted over the past couple of months. Where in the past we could just write and say, hey, what are the flows that you're seeing? How are you doing? What are you seeing? They were basically the market maker, right? And now the market maker is BlackRock. And they become the market taker in a sense where they have mostly arbitrage flow, but they're not making the price. So they're just basically sticking to it. And this has significantly changed. And so I think that's the first thing that is just making it a bit harder based on my own experience over the past years, where I always felt, man, I really know this market in and out. And now it feels like, okay, there's kind of a new sheriff in town. I need to get used to that. And I think that's probably a bit of that. So I think that's the first thing. And so the other thing is it's very difficult for me when I then look on the retail side, right? I want to be clear. I am spending after the Twitter live, I actually deleted the app and just not want to spend much time on social media right now. And then literally when we were having our pre-game kind of conference here, I installed it again, and that's it, right? So I'm spending very little time on the socials, and so I don't fully kind of get the flair right now. But from everyone I talk to, everyone is kind of telling me, hey, like doesn't feel like a bull market, doesn't feel like an all-time high. Interaction is not there. We're not having those tens of thousands of followers or joiners and so on. So it's definitely a different market. Whether this is good or bad, let's see. But I mean, right now the prices are up, and I think that's that's what matters, to be fair.
Let me build a bit on that. So I would 100% agree. I feel this myself. It feels unreal. I feel disbelief. It doesn't feel. I remember how I felt when we were the last time at 65. It, I
3
it
years
was
ago. Almost
yeah
3 years ago.
2.5 years in October, November
Yeah,
2021.
that was the other one. Yeah.
And I was very euphoric back then. I had conviction that we would go for 100K, and it felt very, I don't know, laser eyes and Memecoins, and it was complete
Laser rate to
mania.
100K, right?
Yeah, and now it's the same people. It's of course there are the memes, and everybody seems to be bullish. But so Ben Coven, he likes to share this graph where you can see new followers by like the biggest 50 social influencers, YouTube and Twitter and so on, and they're, I don't know, probably at 20% of what they used to be. Of course, they're picking up, and it's getting more, but I don't get the calls, I don't get the texts. If you look at Coinbase app downloads, if you look at Google Trends, yes, there is an uptick. Yes, there are new people coming in, but it's a fraction of what
Yep.
we saw in 2021. And then for me, I'm caught in between two things. So one is I just don't see how we can basically go into up only mode. Like if you look at the Nasdaq or at the Magnificent Seven, at Bitcoin, all of them they look a bit parabolic, and it
And they've
looks
had some
really
massive
unhealthy.
setbacks. I mean, if you look at the last couple of days, they have actually been selling off, right? And we discussed this a couple of times, how the insiders have been selling, and now there was this little bit of a sell-off. So yeah.
And on the other hand, you have gold feeling or touching the all-time high, which is
No, I think
almost
it hit. Didn't it hit our all-time high? That's at least what I thought.
it is at all-time highs, but it hasn't, like, it's a bit similar to Bitcoin. It touched the all-time high. It's a little bit
So
up,
razors in.
even higher than the all-time high, but it hasn't really made a big breakout move.
Yeah.
And this is kind of worrisome to me, because usually when gold pumps, it's kind of a sign that the dollar is weak, or that that money is looking for a safe harbor. So the whole macro situation and just the feeling that I have is more bearish. But then I look at let's say the fundamental crypto, like the ETF inflows, UBS, Wells Fargo, Merrill Lynch, BlackRock adding it to a diversified ETF. All of these things make me super bullish. So I'm a bit torn in between those two scenarios. And then also a good friend of mine shared as some conspiracy technical analysis theory of me that is kind of sticky in my head. And it's I'm going to butcher this theory, but you will get the idea. So they basically took all the Bitcoin cycles and they made they divided the top by the last top, and then a number came out. Let's, for example, the 2012 top divided by, I don't know, the 2015 bottom,
Low. Uh-huh.
whatever, and then you get like a number like 12, and 12 is the, if you multiply the following bottom by the number of 12, you will get the new top. And this kind of checks out every single time. It's pretty weird. And for this cycle, the prediction was 70K. So if you divide the last top by the last bottom, you get like, I don't know, 2.5x. And if you multiply the bottom with this number, it basically is 70K. And so there is like a camp of people that say, okay, this time we're just going to go, we basically see a triple top, we will sell off, and then we will have another bear market. So we don't really have a real new all-time high. It's basically just another touching the top, and then we have a period of consolidation, of bearishness for a couple of years. And this is kind of, I don't know why it's so sticky, why I think about that so much. Yeah. But that would
Where's
be
all the
the
buying
both.
coming from? I mean, at the end, right? I mean, you know my kind of thesis on this. I always believe that I don't know, technical analysis is astrology for men. It's nice to look at, and obviously we all know the past doesn't predict the future. We all know past performance doesn't promise future performance. So a lot of these things are very contradicting, and then there's still a lot of patterns. And I just always think, to a certain extent, those patterns will always appear, and someone will always say, look, I knew it based on the patterns. For me, the question I always ask myself is who's buying, who's selling, and why. And obviously, if there's more buying interest than selling interest, prices will go up. And if there's more selling interest than buying interest, prices will go down. That's pure economics. So we just need to understand, why are people interested in buying, and why do you think they are? And I mean, it's clearly ETFs. Like, we don't need to even beat around the bush, that the data is crystal clear. We're seeing hundreds of millions of dollars in net inflow into those ETFs, which is significant money. I think we're close to 10 billion in net inflow. I think 8 point something now net inflow in the last, 2 months? I mean, that's solid.
So on the buying, there is a few funny anecdotes and some serious ones. So of course, crypto Twitter is speculating that Jeff Bezos is buying, because he sold, I don't know, 4
Really?
billion, 5 billion of Amazon stock
Yep.
in the last weeks, months. And he was spotted on a boat with Michael Saylor, and he, I don't know. So basically, Jeff Bezos is buying. The Saudis are buying. That's another crypto theory. And then you have, there is a guy, they call him Mr. 100, and he buys 100 Bitcoin a day since like 3 years. Crazy. Every single day, 100 Bitcoin. And this is not via an ETF or anything. It's public on the blockchain. And then you had Snowden. He came out with a cryptic tweet where he basically said,
Government is buying, right? I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, this year we will find out that a major government or a government is buying, and they haven't been disclosing this publicly, but we kind of will find out this year. This is what he said. So these are I don't know, the only theories or things that I saw. And why, on the why, I guess the ETFs are a bit of a validation, and especially how strong the inflows are and how big the attention is. I think it's just something you cannot ignore. I saw a German guy. I never heard of him, but he's like a really boomer. I forgot the name, and he went on a German interview and told the interviewee, I don't like Bitcoin, I don't believe in Bitcoin, but I'm allocating a percent anyway, just because of risk management. And I really can see a future where we have a bunch of people either having an allocation passively, or just because they're scared. Maybe, what if I'm wrong? What if this thing really takes off, just as a hedge? and both, of course, would be advantageous for us in crypto.
Fair. And then what, in your opinion, are the reasons on why this could be a triple top other than charts? Like, what could be the reason? For me, one reason that always sticks out, and we have talked about this so many times, is we could see some liquidity issues in the markets in the next couple of weeks and months. We know the funding programs from the US from a year ago are gonna run dry. We know that the reverse repo markets are a bit on the dryish part. We do know that, right? We know that the Fed may not lower interest rates as quickly as people are hoping. We know all these things. So this is, at least for me, why do you think it is? What other reasons have you seen?
If we see the beginnings of a recession or a major sell-off in traditional markets, let's say in especially in equities, this is not gonna fly over without making any noise. So, and both you and me, we were expecting a sell-off in equities just because we had the most intense, the fastest, the highest rate hiking
Insane.
cycle in history.
Insane.
And I just I don't know how equities can do so well in the environment that we are in right now. Of course, it is very compressed, especially within Magnificent Seven and Nasdaq. For example, the Russell 2000 or the Russell 3000, the small caps, they haven't done well at all. Utility companies or just consumer staples also not really done that well. It's especially tech, AI, and it just feels worrisome when you have, I guess, retail just betting on these seven stocks, because it's also a little bit of a sign of desperation. It's kind of where do I need to park my money to get the most return, and what is kind of what feels safe. So they just put everything into Magnificent Seven and kind of hope for the best. And of course, there is this theory that the system is broken, the system is rigged, it's just up only, you just need to have risk on assets and you're going to do well. And I understand everybody that is saying that, but on the same, nothing goes up forever. It's impossible that we have these Magnificent Seven and they just keep on going up without a setback. That's also not possible. So
how worrying or not is it for you that meme coins are the top performing category over the past week? I mean, like, yeah, and it's, I mean, we're not like Pepe, Shiba Inu, Doge. I mean, if you go on CoinMarketCap, on CoinGecko, you sort by meme coin category. I mean, these are the ones who are pumping the most. How worrying is this for you?
Of course, like I knew that we will have meme coins and really maybe Ponzi coins and so on making a comeback. That was kind of that expected. What would be worrisome to me is if we see older meme coins like, let's say, Shiba Inu or Dogecoin making a new all-time high. Like they're still down, I don't know, 80, 90%. I'm not sure. They pumped a bit. But if Doge really goes for 50 cents, 60 cents, 70 cents, that would really mean, for me at least, that we have some mania that returned. Right now, of course, they pump a little bit because everybody or all the coins follow Bitcoin's price action. And maybe one more thing besides meme coins, last week. We talked a bit about Bitcoin season, altcoin season. Is now the time to rotate money? And last week I said not yet. Now, almost. I think if we break the all-time high, we make it support, and we have a clear breakout, it probably is or could be time to rotate a little bit of capital, especially Ethereum looks good. For everybody.
Do you know? Have you followed Ethereum versus Bitcoin price over the year? Do you know which one is up?
So this year, 2024, Ethereum is up, I think, 4% or so.
Yeah, I think that's actually quite insane if you consider everything that's going on. Yeah.
Yeah, it has, of course, one of the reasons why it is up is because Ethereum started the year very, very low compared on the Bitcoin chart, and it has held up pretty well. And I look at Bitcoin dominance almost daily, and we saw a few setbacks yesterday as well. But I guess this is the reason why it is so choppy. The Bitcoin dominance right now is because a lot of people are aware of these rotation cycles. Like there is graphics made, people have 2 or 3 cycles of experience, and a lot of speculation is here. Okay, Bitcoin is going for the all-time high. Now is the time to rotate capital, and some people are front running others. So I guess what we are seeing right now is people front running the all-time high and basically making a bet that capital is going to rotate, that we will see more risk on, and that altcoin season is starting. And historically, that could be a very valid move. I personally don't like to take. If you have the risk curve, altcoins are of course way up the risk. Is a lot more risk. I don't like to take a lot of risk. If I take risks, I like to stick with blue chips. But I would say it could be very soon. Could be the time. Like I was going on for 2 years that it's Bitcoin season, Bitcoin season, Bitcoin season. And for me, the points that turn it around, where I say, okay, maybe not right now, it's no longer Bitcoin season, is either we make an all-time high or the period about 6 months after the halving. But I guess the second one is we broke that model, or we broke that thesis. So right now, I would say it's time to rotate when Bitcoin made an all-time high and find support.
Interesting.
Have you already are you front running or allocating, rotating capital, or you are allocated mostly into ETH right now? No.
More ETH than Bitcoin, and obviously I wished I had really gone in harder over a year ago. Didn't. So for me, it was mostly dollar cost averaging, and so I'm gonna write that. I am happy about the higher prices. I actually have some very close relatives, close friends who actually invested in 2017 and have hodled all the way through until now. And there I said, hey, look, if you know what you, because they asked me, should I sell something? And I said, maybe, like sell, I don't know, 10%, 20% right now. It's going to give you a way better feeling. And you're up so much, right? I mean, we're talking about like a few $1,000s what they bought a Bitcoin for. And so now they're up, I don't know, 15x or something, some maybe even 20x in comparison to what they bought. I mean, we're talking about like 7 years ago, 6 to 7 years ago. And yeah, I think it differs a bit from person to person, especially if some people have been waiting for, I don't know, buying a new TV or buying a new car or something. And now they're like, wow, like maybe at that point they invested $10,000 and I don't know, gave them like 3 Bitcoins or something. And now they're like, wow, let me sell half a Bitcoin. And it's on their total position. I mean, it's about 15% or something. But man, like that's serious money, right? And that's their new car. And yeah, it's as good as it gets for them. So at the end, lifestyle credits matter. Obviously, it depends if you have a good idea. I would not be selling just to buy. I think that trading part is always a bit tricky. I'm a hodler here, and so that's why I also love what we do here. Hodl, get cash flow. I think that makes a lot of sense. So yeah, it's a long-term game.
I definitely, one thing that the last cycle taught me is that I'm unable to pick a top and pick a bottom. Like really, I thought, okay, after 2017, I know how this works. Next time, if euphoria kicks in, I'm going to take some profits. And I remember very vividly, you were able to take some profits in the 65,000 area. And
I probably would again. I would do it now if I had such a strong allocation where I would feel uncomfortable with that position. I don't. I feel comfortable. I like it. It's actually a good. Like what I have on right now in Bitcoin and Ethereum is comfortable. So yeah, it's good.
I listened to Bob Lucas, and last time when we broke 20K, he actually took profits at the all-time highs, and I was like, what, how, why would you take profits now? I did as well, with around the $66,000 area, not a lot, but it just makes it changes your emotions, because if you already
100%.
have some sheeps that are dry, then nobody can take that from you, and it takes a bit of the edge. So I made plans 2 years ago. If we would go for the all-time highs, I'm going to take a little bit of profit, and reallocating that into indexes and a bit of gold.
It's good. I think that's smart. DeFi chain. What's up? What's happening there?
So there's only one talk in town right now, and I guess I would say only one thing that I really want to touch on, which is we had two community members, George and Andreas, with improvement proposal, and this was we call that the dynamic DEX fee, which the old fee that we had was basically fixed fee in place. It doesn't matter where the market is at and what's happening, what the volatility is doing. It's basically always the same. And now we have a bit more flexibility. It hurts a bit more, especially if the USD price is low, but it's a lot better if the USD is near the peg. And with the implementation of the fee, we have seen an insane run up. So it's definitely working. Now the question is, I think. Sorry if I don't know exactly where we are right now. Let me
I
actually
think
check.
I just looked before. I think 77 cents.
77 cents. Yeah.
I mean,
On
I used the DeFi scan price. Yeah.
on just beware. Coin Market Cap. They use a bit of a different calculation. It's 70 cents on Coin Market Cap. On CoinGecko, we had a bit of issues with the API. They are fixed again, so it's displaying the correct price. And on DeFi Scan, it's 77 cents, which of course is just a little bit left. And from a time perspective, I think we made a 13-month high. So it's the highest it has ever been in 13 months. And so with the improvement when it comes to DUSD, of course, the sentiment also improved, and people kind of have a little bit more hope. Of course, we need to see a little bit of follow through and see how the DEX fee does, especially in the higher up percentages, let's say between 75 cents and $1. We don't know yet, but it's definitely already a success. So, you have these graphs that Kugi and DC post on Twitter a lot, where they actually compare buyers and sellers. And one of the issues, in my opinion, that we had with the USD were short-term speculators. Like we had a lot of people speculating on short-term price movements of a stablecoin. So they made a bet, they shorted it, or they longed it, or they took profits along the way, which inflicts volatility, which shouldn't be there. Like this thing is made so you can trade and own real world assets in a decentralized way. It's not there to speculate on its price. And the DEX fee definitely helps to kind of flush out the short-term speculators and give the stablecoin the reason why it's actually there. So definitely exciting. That would be the main talk in town.
100%. I see. I mean, whenever I speak with you or I speak with Liam or actually also Persona and everyone who is really in the community, and I think the sentiment feedback is really good. So yeah.
What about things that we have lined up on the bake side? We have a few exciting things. Maybe you want to.
I think the main thing, and you're gonna see the very kind of early version of that tomorrow, is we really want to go towards the exchange route. I think that's something that has been always missing on the platform. You're gonna see that first version tomorrow. It's gonna be really the kind of early version. I think in the middle of the months or second half of the months, you're gonna see the next version. So we're always the same. We want to really launch fast. We want to get feedback from you, see what your users are using, and then double down on those things. So tomorrow you're going to be able to freely exchange a lot of the pairs. Complex swaps are not going to be possible yet, so you cannot do like really, really complex ones. You can do the simple routes, the main coins, and so on. You will see this in the app. It's very straightforward. And then the goal is that we have a really proper trading engine that actually utilizes a lot of the other exchanges for best pricing. So the idea really in the long term is that we have a system where you can go and say, hey, I want to swap this to this, and we just give you like the best price that is out there and route it in the best way possible. And we're really working on this. I think we have some really nice progress on this and really nice results. So first early version is going to happen tomorrow. Again, this is kind of the first step. And that just kind of give you a bit of the idea where we're going. And then second half of the months, you're going to see the next push. And then months after months, you're going to see better iterations, more functions, more features. And so the long-term plan is obviously to have to serve to people who want to swap, trade, exchange. That's one segment. Then we have the bundles that are really more the long-term kind of hodlers, where we have these various ideas, narratives, and so on. And then we have Alpha Desk, which is really about those aggressive trading strategies that can be extremely profitable and extremely interesting. And then kind of have those three kind of sets. So yeah, we're looking into all kinds of other things as well. Maybe with looking into some of the trading bots, what's possible there, offer that on the platform. Yeah, and then obviously on everything, if possible, on top, provide you with coin flow / cash flow rewards that are possible. Yeah, so it's going to be this one-stop platform, and I'm really excited about this. Yeah, so really cool. I'm looking forward. It's a nice direction. I really think over the last months, we've really cleaned up a lot. We've turned this thing massively around. I think, yeah, it wasn't easy. The last couple of months, really, I'm not saying it was an easy time. It was a really tough time. Team stuck together. Everyone held together really well. We're in a really good trajectory now. So quite exciting. Yeah, so that's good. I'm really looking forward to that. Yeah, so bull market's there. We're doing well. Everything is going in the right direction. It seems DeFi chain community really kind of coming together. It's also beautiful to see after a lot of madness. Yeah. Anything else? We kind of said it before. I want to keep it a bit shorter today because I have actually another appointment, so I need to hop off. But I don't know if we missed anything. I don't think so.
Well, crypto market company wise, we definitely didn't. The only thing that we promised to mention was the network outage with Meta and
Ooh, true.
Instagram and so on, and Elon making fun of Suck.
Let's finish with that.
Yeah.
Do you want to give the context?
So I actually don't know yet what the reason was. I saw a few polls and a few hints and a few tweets that some people say it's a cyber attack. Others say it's just technical problems, server problems. But fact is that Meta, or no, not Meta, Facebook and Instagram both were down for, I don't know, 2 hours maybe. And Twitter wasn't. And of course, Elon kind of took a step. He made a tweet and he said, like, if you're reading this post, it means that our servers are running or something like that.
Oh man.
And
Oh
like
man, he's so good.
the funny thing was, like, Andy, I don't know his last name, some server guy, some guy that is responsible for the stability of the platform. He made a tweet, so he basically announced on X that Instagram and Facebook are down. And a lot of people, of course, are making fun out of the network outage, and this, of course, plays into Elon's hands. So yeah, he's definitely done. Like, we talked about this a year ago. It's crazy that he fired basically 80% of the people on the platform, is running more stable and has more growth and everything. It's absolutely insane. People kind of tend to forget it was the talk of the town a year ago, and now nobody talks about it because everything runs so smooth.
Yeah, that's true. It is true. He did a really good job. Cool. And maybe let's finish. Ethereum just did a 1-year high. It just went actually over the high of yesterday. So, wow, what a bounce. Very strong. So, all the ETH hodlers, congrats. Yeah, and if you don't have ETH yet, maybe take a look. Stake it with us. And yeah, hope you get wealthy. Cool. Fabio, appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time. Thanks so much for tuning in, everyone. If you haven't done so, click subscribe, click like, share this video, share the content on Twitter, the same thing, or on X, the same thing. Subscribe, follow, and then we'll see you next week. Depends on if there's any news, anything that's obviously relevant, but what's happening at the moment looks like it. So all the best. Thank you so much, everyone. Stay safe, stay healthy, a lot of good fortune, and to the next top in the Bitcoin price, Ethereum price, DeFi price. Let's go. See you all. Bye-bye.